Well, when I was in Prick, and like I said, it's all who you know and, the connections you make and everything. So made some new friends along the way. And after Prick ended, I actually called one of our managers looking for some work. I was like, hey, man, I need a gig. And I knew Manson was getting ready to go on tour again. And he was looking for a new guitar player, but they had already gotten someone. But he said, hey, man, we're looking for a tech if you want to come out and tech. Pogo's looking for a keyboard tech. So if you want to do that, we'd love to have you out. And I was like, tech, huh? How much does that pay? So that's how that all began.
Yeah. What was the learning curve on that? Because you said that you weren't into synthesizers, then all of a sudden, I like Depeche Mode. And so...
Exactly.
What was the learning curve and how did that go down?
I don't know, man. It's like, I always get myself into these situations. It's like, you're like way over your head, man. What are you doing? Right? You just figure it out.
Yeah.
So I had bought a sampler at that point. I knew how to make some programs and, sample some stuff and trim and edit and assign to MIDI notes and all that, So it wasn't like I was a complete idiot when it came to MIDI and sequencers and keyboards and everything, but it was the perfect timing, really, because being in Prick and being exposed to the whole electronic industrial music scene and all the equipment that comes with that, and then also, okay, now you want to go tech for Pogo with Manson. One of the guys I used to look up to a lot when I was working with Prick and Nine Inch Nails was John Van Eaton, who was Nine Inch Nails tech and did their playback. And it was like, wow, that guy, he knows so much stuff. He knows how to use all that stuff. He knows everything about all those keyboards, and I want to know all that stuff. So it was just it seemed like I was always eager to just take on whatever and like dive in and just, learn as you go, figure it out. One thing I learned about in college was a reading manual. You know what I mean? It's like never read a book in my life until I went to college and read that manual on that, Yamaha desk or that Tascam tape machine. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I did terrible in high school literature and reading and everything, but I learned how to read a manual.
So you got a lot of manuals and
yeah.
Were you taking over for somebody else, or was the tour starting, or?
Actually, it was John Van Eaton.
Oh, wow.
John Van Eaton was Pogo's keyboard tech.
Holy cow.
I know.
So you took the guy's spot that you were like, I want to do.
He trained me.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Wow. What was that like? Obviously it was probably mind-blowing.
Yeah. It was like, wow, I'm really following in the right footsteps here, Yeah. So, yeah, it was, I was so fresh and so new and I knew so little. I thought I knew so much, but I really knew so little.
Yeah.
But it's a great learning experience, and it's just, learn as you go. We had these horrible MIDI controllers, the old Roland AX, what are they called? AX something? I forget. Guitars, yeah. And they were always malfunctioning because, those guys were pretty intense on stage and always banging and knocking their stuff and throwing water bottles and water getting in everything. So you're always opening up keyboards and putting silicone on top of, contacts so that they don't get wet and start malfunctioning, or just turning off this MIDI function, that MIDI function, just taking this whole module out altogether, throwing it away, So you basically try and bomb-proof the thing. And eventually you figure it out and you find out everything you got to just, turn off. I don't know what happened. I was like playing, and all of a sudden, everything went up a half step.
I'm the angel with the scab wings, hot face, wanna powder nose.
Oh, that sucks, right?
Yeah.
Like you hit the transpose button. How'd you do that? I don't know. I did a certain mixture of buttons here, and that's what happened. All right, I'll get the manual and figure out how to turn that off.
What was it like touring with them? Because it's been pretty well documented that they got pretty dark for a while, and then Manson's making a comeback, and he seems to have his stuff together, which is great.
Yep.
But was it like so fresh to the band too at that time, or was it like full?
It was like Antichrist Superstar, and they were working on that record when I was still in Prick, and I remember being in New Orleans with Prick, and they were recording Antichrist at Trent Studio, and Sean Bevan was producing it, and he brought us in the control room, and we're playing us some tracks, like Beautiful People and all that stuff, and it was just, I never heard it before, right? It was just so heavy. It's just like intense, right? It's so awesome. So going from that, and then like seeing the whole progression of the live show, and then all the stuff that comes with, all the protesting and bomb threats and everything. And it's seeing it from the beginning all the way up, it's like we played some shows with Manson at the Whiskey during on their first record, when I was with Prick. So just like seeing the whole progress right there firsthand, it was pretty awesome.
Part of it too, like being behind the scenes, but
Yeah, it was
still
awesome.
being part of it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is pretty crazy. So, did you just finish the Antichrist Superstar tour, or did you go on with them? What came after that tour?
Once you kind of get in the groove, and you start teching or playing or whatever, and you get in, and you get calls like, "Oh, what are you doing after this tour ends?" "Oh, I'm going off to this tour." "Oh, I think they're looking for this or that." "Oh, put my name in the hat." And then you get a call, "Are you available? Would you be interested in doing this tour or that tour?" So I just kind of kept getting some calls to go tech.